All right, guys, welcome to Pick Money, the podcast, episode 54. Really appreciate you jumping on. I want to talk about something that I know is specific to everybody who's, that has a job, that is becoming an entrepreneur, that has a job and is an entrepreneur. You know, you're aspiring to be a full-time entrepreneur. You opened your own business, that's new. Any of the things that because every time I do anything content-wise, podcast-wise, the only purpose is to make a difference. And recently I'm like, dude, some of the stuff I'm like, does that actually make a difference or am I just doing it? So I'm really getting refocused. And I think you should be doing this in your journey all the time in life on why am I doing what I'm doing? I take any time out of my day to do it. Why am I doing it? And it's like, because as I'm sitting here talking, I'm always thinking about where I was and if somebody could have spoken life into me, knowledge into me, education into me, motivation into me. If they could have done that when I was 18, 19, 20, 21, 20, any age, in my 30s, when I was trying to figure out how to get to where and I don't even know that I knew where I wanted to go, but I just knew that I wanted to provide a better living for my family. And I know that I wanted to make a difference in people's lives. And I knew I wanted to make enough money to give money away. Those are things I just knew those things. Like, I'm like, unequivocally, I want to do these things. And for me, it was like, all right, sometimes I'm like, I'm just talking to that dude, you know? And I think a lot of us out there are, you know, a lot of us that become independent contractors and entrepreneurs and businessmen and women, I think that a lot of times it's that's a first generation thing for us. Some of you might be like, well, my mom and dad have been in business forever, and that's great. I'm not excluding you. But a lot of times, like, we're the first one. So we really, when we look around, it's not like, you know, it's not like our dad. I didn't have a dad at the dining room table. I don't ever remember having dinner with a mom and a dad and my brother, ever. I mean, it might have happened when I was real young before he left, but I don't remember it. And my mom worked 3 jobs, so it wasn't like she was just working. She wasn't doing anything. She was just working like her ass off. So I was, I didn't really like, as I'm trying to figure out moving through life, and then you get to be like, you know, getting to college and you're like, man, I'm playing ball and I don't even like, I want to play ball, but I want to get paid. Can I get paid to play ball? How much can I get paid? If not, can I go get a job? Can I make a living? What am I going to do? And there's so many times that as I'm talking on the podcast, I'm like, man, what would that dude want to hear? That's why I always like when people ask questions. Sometimes I'm like, I think I know what you want to hear, but at times you're going to have different questions than I did. You have different life experiences than me. You have different strengths than I did and different weaknesses than I did. And I do, you know. But one of the things that I've learned recently, you know, I was at a retreat. I was at a deal with a bunch of guys and phenomenal program and they do a lot of breaking you down, building you up. It's unbelievable. And the guy said, what would you say to your 8-year-old self, like right now? And I was like, and he goes, and the reason he picked 8, he said, give me one of the most difficult times in your life that you can remember. And I'm like, well, I can remember like a lot of dysfunction and violence in my home. And I can remember the age that I was. And he's like, what would you say to that 8-year-old kid? And I was like, at first I'm like, I don't know. And he's like, well, why don't you think about it? What would you say to that 8-year-old kid? What do you think then he said, what do you think the 8-year-old kid would want to know? What do you think he'd want to hear? And I'm getting emotional, man, because, you know, you're in a place, you're thinking about your life, you're thinking about everything that's happened, you're thinking about the things you're proud of, you're thinking about the mistakes you've made. You're thinking about the dysfunction you went through. You're just thinking about a lot of stuff, you know, and a lot of stuff you don't want to think about because it's easy to bury it. It's much easier to bury it, right? But that doesn't work long term. And I said, man, I want him to know that it's going to be okay. You know, like, man, I get emotional talking about it now. I want him to know it's going to be all right. Like, I'm like, he's like, well, tell him. I was like, bro, it's going to be all right. And then he flips it on me after we keep talking. And he said, do you ever think there's times as you become an adult that kid shows up? And I said, what do you mean? He said, angry, confrontational, impulsive, like through the course of your life. This was, I don't know, 4 months ago. And I said, yeah, I'm assuming so. And he said, well, good. Look at that kid and tell him you got it from here. And it was one of the deepest spiritual moments of my life, where the retreat was hardcore, challenging, faith-based. And I was like, bro, I got it from here. Like you did a good job getting us here, me and you. But like, I got it from here, dude. And I'm telling you, man, I think a lot of times, a lot of us, we move on in life, and everybody's been through stuff. I think that's the other thing you realize. I don't care. No money, violence, no violence, drug abuse, sons. I'm not saying that some of us haven't. Listen, I've been through a lot. I've experienced a lot as a kid. And that doesn't make my story better or worse than anybody else. I'm just saying that I did, And I remember I was talking to this dude, his therapist, and he was like, man, and he started talking all this stuff about, I can't believe, and how could you, be successful, and you're raised this way and raised that way, and you're looking, and it was, very disrespectful. I said, dude, my mom did everything that she was supposed, my mom, she worked hard, man. Every struggle I had was a blessing. But also I realize at some point in time, man, you got to show up as a different person. So I think for and all that, and I'm not preaching to anybody. I'm just telling you my truth. My truth is all that glory goes to God. That's my truth. So I'm just, I got to live in that truth. But I will tell you that when you make that decision, it changes everything for you. So as you're sitting here on your entrepreneurial journey, your business journey, your sales journey, it's easy to not grow, right? So let's say that every time in your life things went bad, especially when you were younger, your deal was, screw it, I quit. Okay, well, at some point in time, the adult's like, hey, bro, I get it, but every time you get pissed off, we just can't quit, Or you go, well, when I get, it's not going well, I get argumentative and angry. And you're like, okay, dude, but at some point in time, we can't do that all the time. When I get to that point, I get down on myself and I speak negative into myself and I give up. Okay, well, we can't do that either. We just can't do that. That just can't happen, So I think that when you start getting people to understand that dynamic, I think everything changes. And I want, here on Pick Money, I'd love you to ask questions. I don't know what you want to know, and I don't do this for how many people watched this one, what got promoted. Dude, I just want to make a difference. And if one person's like, hey man, that shit was pretty good, dude. That changed my, that changed. I was at church the other day. A guy pulled me aside. He's like, hey man, I'll follow your stuff on social media. I'm like, cool. And that, no offense, I'm kind of like, that doesn't matter to me at all. But he goes, there's a lot of the stuff you said about business has really helped me. Now I'm interested. I'm like, oh, thanks, man. That's why I want to do it. I don't want to do it so you got to figure that out in your business life too. What do you enjoy doing? For me, I'll do content and I'll do these podcasts and I'll do these calls if it's making a difference in people's lives. But if it's not, I'm out. And I think I'm not doing it for the other part. And I think that's, you really have to find your own peace, if you will. And when you find your own peace, it's pretty powerful, to be honest with you. So, I think I just want to start with that because I want to get into some stuff that I think you definitely need to know. But I think you needed to know that. And I just know that and I'm not saying that may not be your truth, that may not be your story, but as you start looking at, you know what, man, why do I react this way? Why do I act this way? Why do I make these decisions? Why in my business, when this is happening, why am I not accountable? And a lot of that is we can get stuck in who we were and where we were. And part of it is yeah, bro, I was stuck for, quite some time. I probably going to tell you that until 4 months ago, I think that was still pretty deeply rooted. And I got to be honest, I think that is that's a struggle, because it really had a negative impact on me. And, so I think as you're moving through your business and you're moving through your career and you're moving through your sales, dude, be easy on yourself, man. I think be hard on yourself and be tough on yourself when you're having success and you can do better. But when you're already failing at like whatever, a day, a week, a month, goals, dude, it's already hard enough. Now, I beat myself down mercilessly. Now you go, well, it worked for you. No, I wouldn't really have an, I got problems, man. Like, I don't know. I don't know that it worked. So I think you have to know yourself. You got to know what motivates you. You got to know how you're going to connect and react. And I hope that you watch this every week and go, you know what, man? The guy's speaking truth. He's speaking life into me. I feel better about my opportunity and my ability when I'm done than when I got on the podcast. He gave me some tips, specific tips about my business and sales and profitability and do's and don'ts, and he did all that. He walked me through, how to monetize, what you do in the future, what it looks like, what's your long-term plan. Like, he walked me through all that. And man, I picked up this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7 things this week. That was great. That got me in a better headspace. So I think and I'm always like, I'm talking to y'all, but I'm remembering what it was like always to be doubting me. I'm remembering what it was like to walk into my very first sales meeting in real estate at 20 with beaten up sneakers, beaten up jeans, and the best and only button-down shirt I had. And walking in and seeing in my mind a bunch of crazy to me, they were crazy successful people. They were dressed much better than me. They had ties on. They had been in the business for a while. They drove nicer cars. I was driving a Dodge Omni, which none of you would even know what that is. Like, that would take, like, you'd start that freaking thing and it would take like 25 minutes to start. And if it was Connecticut and a cold, it could take 45. Just like but I bought it for nothing. But I can remember walking into that room and the way people looked at me. And the first couple times, I think it really messed with me. Like, I was like, they don't believe I can do this. It wasn't a huge, the area I was from, like, you kind of knew where people lived. So if they asked me where I lived, which I'd tell them where I lived, they knew that I didn't. Like, they knew where were you raised? And when I told them, they knew. Like, what part of the city? Here. They knew. They just knew, like, and it was like, I felt, here all these middle income, upper income. To me, they were rich. They probably have a house. Like, we lived in an apartment my whole life. And then I lived in an apartment I'm own at 20. Like, they had nice cars. To me, they might not even been that nice. I was intimidated. I was. And at about the second, third meeting, I was like, they ain't better than me. They're not any better than me. But they're not any better than me. They are not freaking better than I am. I'm done walking in here feeling uncomfortable. I'm going to wear the same damn jeans and the same damn shirt and the same damn sneakers every week because it's all I got till I make a sale. I'm going to be here whether they like it or not. If they talk to me, great. If they don't talk to me, great. I don't give a shit. I am here. I ain't going nowhere. And then you fast forward in a year, I was top salesperson in there. But you know what? I just added 2 more pairs of jeans and 2 more button-down shirts, and I still drove the same car. I realized that I could do exactly what anybody else was doing in business. But I'm glad I snapped out of it because the first couple weeks, I thought about not going back. If you'd asked me if I thought about like that third Friday, it's definitely the second Friday. Second, I started to feel it. Third, I was going. But the second one, I thought about not going back. I don't fit in. The good news is the real estate license was expensive to get, and it was time consuming. So for me, it was like, dude, I put too much time and energy into this thing. And for me, if I dropped at that time probably $1,000, $1,500, that was a ton of money. So I was like, dude, I ain't giving up that money. I got no choice. But you know what really kept me moving? Was I thought my mom deserved better at that time, at that young age. My mom got a real estate license and gave up on it. I think the people around her talked her out of it. I think she would have been good at it. I think she felt the same way at those first couple meetings that I did, and she stopped going. And I was like, no, I'm gonna change it. Like I ain't giving up. I'm in. I ain't going nowhere. I ain't backing down. I'm here to stay, like it or not. And that gave me so much, such a feeling that allowed me to have success. And I can go through all the times that it was hard and uncomfortable, and your head's getting hot, and you feel like you're red, and you're like, can I do this? Can I not? That, they called me in this meeting, and I did my first. Like, I can go. That's who made me who I am. All the trials and tribulations. But I want you to hear today that you belong in every room you're in. If you're in a room, you belong in it. If you're in a room, you hold your head high and you belong in it. I don't care about your past. That's not like, that's between you and God, bro. You need to, I'm not here to judge. You belong. You're here. Thanks for coming. That's what I love so much about life insurance, was to see the people walk in the room, see them look around like you could tell they were uncomfortable. Go over and grab a guy and put your arm around him and be like, what's up, dude? Hey, man, what's going on? You here for the meeting? Yep. Who invited you? So-and-so did. Cool, man. Good dude. Why don't you come sit over here? My name is Shawn. Good to meet you, man. What are you doing now for work? You could see him. Well, I'm only. I'm like, what do you mean only? Well, I'm only laboring for a I'm like, what do you mean only? I mean, you worked harder than all these people in here all day long physically, dude. What do you mean only? Don't speak that. And to start to speak life into people, and to watch them dudes come in the second meeting, the third meeting, the fourth meeting, the way they carried themselves. And then explain, the better you get, the more people are going to try to bring you down. Who gives a shit? It don't matter. You stand strong. So that's what I want people to understand. If you hear all these numbers on how many people's businesses fail in the first 6 months, year and a half, 2, they give up on themselves. The number one reason their businesses fail that fast is they give up on themselves. Unless they jumped into a business that had absolutely no chance to succeed, if there were other people doing it, it doesn't mean it was going to be an astronomical success and they're going to make millions and millions of dollars overnight. But it means that they could have had success. They gave up on themselves. And when they do that, it's a wrap. What do you do? Where do you go? And sometimes you're the only one that believes in yourself here on earth. But I can promise you, dude, you ain't alone. You ain't alone. You have to understand that. You, in your belief in yourself on this earth, as a human, is the only human belief you need. You. Just you. Good, bad, or indifferent. And yes, it's hard. And yes, it's uncomfortable. And yes, it sucks. And yes, people can be jealous. And yes, they can take shots at you. So what? Just keep getting up. You just keep getting up, dude. It messes people up. Clients, contractors, people you compete with, they're like, dude, I thought we knocked him down. What is he doing getting up? Like, what is the deal? It's like that. It's y'all too, you probably didn't even see it. Y'all too young. The original Rocky movie, when my man gets up and Apollo Creed's like, dude, seriously? Like, he's beating this dude to like death. And he's cheering because it's over. And there he is, man. He just has this look on his face like, what do I got to do to this guy to knock? Like, I'm beating his head in. What the hell is going on here? That's how you want people to look at you that think you're supposed to be down and out. That's how you want the people that speak negative in your life to look at you. That's how your friends that maybe don't want you to succeed and talk negative in your life. That's how you want them to look at you. When I decided to get sober, every single friend, appropriately so, I'm not mad at them, every one of them said, good luck. They started betting on how long I'd make it. Over-unders, because not only do we party a lot together, we gamble a lot together. What's the over-under on how long Shawn will stay sober? My one buddy said an hour. He goes, I bet he'll make it an hour. I don't think anybody picked over 7 days. 25 years later. Because you know what? I decided to. I'll put my faith in God and I move forward. You can do the same thing with anything you choose in your life. So I want you to show up knowing who you are. I want you to understand that you are never truly alone. You have the ability to do anything in the world that doesn't require ability. And business does not require some innate ability. Any one of you could be any success that you want in the business world. It's on you. But every week in here moving forward, you're going to hear me talking to all of y'all. And when I seem real focused about it, you'll be like, dude, I think he's like locked in on the experiences he's had. You better bet your ass I am. Because they're probably the experiences you got. And you might be at a crossroads that I was at. And I know exactly how to get through that. 100%, I'm 100% sure I know how to get through that. And I want to help you get through the exact same thing. So you have any questions, you put them in the comments. If you think it's a dumb question, who cares? Put it in the comments. You have a comment, put it in the comment section. You got somebody you know needs to watch this. Tell them to subscribe to the channel and watch it. Hell, if they don't want to subscribe, tell them just to watch the podcast. But we are going to make a difference on here legitimately. We ain't going to talk about it. We ain't going to scream and yell, and it will be entertaining because it'll make a difference in your life. And that's all we're going to do and pick money. That's it. If you love that, watch it. If you don't watch it. You won't like it. There's enough stuff out there that ain't making a difference. You better bet your ass we're going to make a difference here on Pick Money, the podcast. So I do appreciate y'all. I'll see you next week. Same time, same place. Drop your questions in the comment section. Drop your comments in here. And I appreciate y'all being on more than you can possibly know. Let's help you get to where you want to get to. And let's help that dude one day kick in and go, hey, man, I got it from here. Let's make some of the changes that you should have made earlier in your life. And let's walk through those together. So appreciate y'all. Have a great day.